I would like to react to that at two levels. The first is the government does what they do, and when companies are good citizens, they will actually pay their taxes and give the government what they need in order to be able to fulfill their obligations to the citizens. But the government can't do everything. Mm-hmm. What we then need is for civil society and the private sector to come in and play their role. And we're seeing a resurgence in volunteerism of civil society, of the police co-op credit union that gives scholarships for young people for high schools and for universities. So every civil society group is starting to play a role. And I think corporate social responsibility then becomes a way for the private sector to live into this citizenship duty as well. The other concern that I hear when I hear that the government is foisting it is whether or not they're going to mandate it and try and set regulations. And I hope they don't. What I would like for the government to do is to create the enabling environment that companies can fulfill their role. But corporate social responsibility has to be a voluntary role of companies, where the company voluntarily goes beyond the minimum legal requirement of being a corporation.
How can companies that are not members of PSOJ get involved in the Imagine Jamaica project?
Well, Imagine Jamaica is looking for any company in Jamaica that wants to learn more about corporate social responsibility. Shortly, we'll have a website, which would be imaginejamaica.org, and our phone numbers are 978-1296, which will contact you to one of the project officers, or at PSOJ, and you then leave a message and it'll get to us because we're there all the time.
Bridgette, at the luncheon last week, there was a lovely menu of options that the PSOJ had put forward. Would you like to elaborate on what some of those projects were and how people can get involved?
What was on the table was actually the PSOJ's menu of partnership options that was highlighting the work that the PSOJ does through its committees. So the first was Crime Stop through the Crime Committee, the National Safety Committee of the PSOJ. The other committee that works well at PSOJ is the Corporate Governance Committee, and they're the ones that will be working a lot with the Organization of American States that's sponsoring some of the CSR training that we'll be doing over the next few months. And then the Education Committee, which is the committee of PSOJ that advises around education and the needs of the private sector as it relates to the education system. And they had a number of projects. The first was the National Mentorship and Youth Leadership Project, which is looking at training young people to actually in life skills and leadership skills, and then twinning them with mentors from the private sector companies. And that's a major initiative, and that will be done in partnership with the Insurance Association of Jamaica that's currently doing a similar program in children's homes. There's also the School Governance Project, which is where we're seeking persons from the private sector to volunteer to work with school boards in order to strengthen the governance of schools, and that will be accompanied by training as well. And then the final project is Reading the Bottom Line, where we ask for companies to sponsor resource materials for basic and primary schools, and then have their staff volunteer to go in and read to children on anything that interests them, but especially from the books, the Ministry of Education approved curricula material, so that children can see and understand and appreciate the importance of reading for development.
So finally, what does Imagine Jamaica really need now from corporate Jamaica?
Imagine Jamaica needs corporate Jamaica's support and listening, so that to embrace Imagine Jamaica, so that we can actually make the ideas a reality. We can get donor funding, but we always will be better off if we get corporate Jamaica to support some of the core activities, and then we get the donor funding to implement the projects and the opportunities for partnership.
And also, obviously, you'll work with them to give them exposure and publicity for any of the projects that they undertake.
Tremendous exposure and publicity, because it's important. It's an important aspect of corporate social responsibility, is that you're acknowledged for the good work that you do. Right. And that will be a key focus of Imagine Jamaica over the next coming years.
So you're based at PSOJ?
We have a small secretariat at the PSOJ. We share offices with the Ad Council of Jamaica. How could I have forgotten? We share offices with the Ad Council of Jamaica, which is a project of the PSOJ to have, we harness the volunteer efforts of the media, the production houses and advertising agencies to produce messages for social change. And so we're hosting a little office with them.
That's very admirable of the Ad Council of Jamaica.
Yes.
I think that's an excellent initiative. Well, thank you very much for being with us today, Bridgette. It was fascinating talking to you, and we wish you every success with Imagine Jamaica.
Thank you so much.